Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Coalfield Chronicles. Today, we are on the Big Sandy subdivision at a popular rail fan spot by the name of Ford's Branch. To most people, Ford's Branch is just another stretch of track that trains run on. However, to rail fans, the signals here stand out like a sore thumb. Remarkably, the Big Sandy subdivision is one of seldom main lines left that still has its original C&O cantilever signals in several locations. Ford's Branch still has a set of these signals, and they reside just outside of the Shelby Yard. The Big Sandy subdivision dates back to 1886 when ex-Civil War General John Wilder took charge and began constructing what would become the Big Sandy under the Charleston, Cincinnati, and Chicago Railway, or CC&O. Starting in Ashland, he worked his way toward Pikeville with intentions to interchange with the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway out of Huntington. By 1890, over 50 miles of track had been completed. Yet the Depression of 1893 would bankrupt Mr. Wilder, and he would sell the CC&O to Charles Hellyer, who would reorganize the railroad as the Ohio River and Charleston. Hellyer would reach Pikeville by 1895, and the Edgewater Coal Company would begin excavation for its first deep mine. Around 1900, however, the president of the Chesapeake and Ohio, George Stevens, was pressuring Hellyer to sell the line, in which he did, extending the C&O Railroad over 100 miles into the heart of the coalfields. Under the C&O, the trackage would be extended further to the terminating point at Elkhorn City, where they would meet the Carolina, Clinchfield, and Ohio Railway, an asset of previously mentioned Charles Hellyer. We will explore all that history in a future episode. By 1944, the C&O served 58 mines on the Big Sandy subdivision, and the line would quickly become the C&O's top dollar and coal tonnage producer. By the 1950s, there were 14 branch lines long enough to operate as subdivisions, only increasing the astounding amount of coal traffic coming off the line. 95% of traffic was coal service, with the remaining being passenger and freight to small communities along the line. Back to Ford's Branch, after the C&O acquired the Big Sandy, they extended the line southwards towards Elkhorn City. They quickly realized that they needed staging yards along the route, and so they constructed a yard in Paintsville and another in Shelbyana. As any yard would require, the yard leads extended far out into the Ford's Branch community, and a set of signals would be placed to guard over the rails and keep trains entering and exiting the yard smoothly. Ford's Branch sits at milepost 111.2, and would become the gateway to the Shelby Yard, having dozens of trains pass through it every day. The C&O would install the iconic cantilever signals and would continue to use them through their merging with the Western Maryland and B&O in 1973 to form the Chessie system. Chessie would also keep the signals in service through their own merging with Seaboard in 1982 to form CSX. As time would pass, however, CSX began upgrading their signaling systems, and these magnificent structures would begin to phase out in light of more modern solutions. Nearly all of the former C&O lines now carry modern Vader signal sets, yet miraculously, the Big Sandy remains mostly untouched. This sadly may not be the case for long, however, as CSX started on the former Clinchfield replacing the older R2 signals of their history, and are slowly working their way north towards Elkhorn City and Shelby. For any rail fan wanting a shot at these historic structures, you had better act sooner rather than later. In modern times, Ford's Branch seems mostly untouched from its past. Trackage still passes through and extends for some ways before merging back into the main line, and the signals still indicate to passerbys whether or not a southbound train is approaching. Oftentimes, 200-car coal trains will come down from Russell and will stop at Ford's Branch to drop half their cars in the siding. This is mostly for means of freeing up extra tracks in the yard ahead in Shelby until the hoppers are needed in days to come. It is far from uncommon to see trains tied down here, with engines often being left shut down on the head end. The Ford's Branch community is definitely no stranger to rail fans either, as the siding and the signals attract them by the dozens, myself included. And that wraps up Ford's Branch as a whole. Nowadays, it sees anywhere from 4 to 10 trains a day, ranging between manifest, coal, ethanol, grain, and the occasional work train. If you hit it on the right day, you can see the bulk of those in daylight, which only accentuates the signal's historic preservation. It's no secret that they will be gone one day, so shoot them while you can. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Coalfield Chronicles. As usual, special thank you to railroad historian Robbie Vaughn for the plethora of information used to bring this video together. If you liked what you see, consider subscribing so you don't miss another episode, and be sure to leave your feedback and suggestions in the comments below. Until next time, from the Coalfields, this is Railfan Micah Turner. God bless y'all. Mm-hmm.